Hello, welcome, Zeah Hero here. If you're new to the channel, I want to let you know I have a Zeah only series on the channel, and I think it's worth checking out. As for everyone else, welcome back. So this is going to be my formal type of video, long and in-depth with lots of detail. This is a long guide. It's wise to let it play while you continue scaping, just to hear some of the details contained within it, rather than attempting to skip through it for specifics. While the beginning of this guide is for new players, and the second half is for more experienced players, it's wise to let the whole guide play through. While this guide is not intended to cover every single aspect of Wintertodt, it should be viewed as a great starting spot for players new to the Wintertodt, and great starting spot for players looking to maximize their efforts at the Wintertodt. While this guide covers several things I have not yet seen in other guides, it also completely skips some of the more rudimentary aspects of Wintertodt, for I feel they are rudimentary aspects to RuneScape itself and are quite self-explanatory. With that being said, let's get started. The Wintertodt lore, really quick little summary. The Wintertodt is a minigame style boss. Remember that, it's a boss that is fought using skills rather than combat. It's located in the northern tundras in Great Kurend, bringing a storm of perpetual winter and unfathomable cold. According to the Lookout, it is unclear what the Wintertodt actually is, but its ability to alter the weather to extremely low temperatures has earned it notoriety among people of Great Kurend. Players must assist pyromancers, as a special group of Archaeus mages, to keep the Wintertodt at bay. As servants of the sacred flame, they only know spells required to subdue the Wintertodt, so they are heavily relied upon in the defense of Great Kurend. While their magical abilities are extraordinary, their skills in other areas are limited, and thus require assistance from skilled adventurers like you. In order to help subdue the Wintertodt, players are required to have at least level 50 in firemaking. Favor with any of the cities of Great Kurend is not required. Skill levels in herblore, fletching, woodcutting, and construction do not affect the speed of their related activities at all. And I read this verbatim from RuneScape Wiki or whatever. That's not quite true. I will explain that later. This is part of the whole guide series here now. It says, however, having higher levels grant more experience. That is true. The Wintertodt is considered to be a boss, not a mini game. Dying at Wintertodt is not safe. Just so you guys are all aware. Okay, so what does a Wintertodt give experience in? First and foremost, depending on what your account is like before starting your Wintertodt experience, you can expect a varied experience from other players' experience. So your experience will be different from the way other people will experience it based on the way your account is built. So I'm going to go ahead and explain this. Based on the mechanics of the Wintertodt itself, there are three kinds of players that will have a different experience from one another. The trick is first to identify what kind of account you have, then identify the type of experience you would like, and if possible, mold your account a specific way to be able to have that experience. The first kind of account is a completely fresh level 3 with 10 HP. These accounts typically want a simple and quick 99 firemaking and don't mind minimal loot at the end. The second kind of account is a level 3 with 10 HP, but which has higher skilling levels in herblore, fishing, mining, crafting, farming, and woodcutting. The loot received from a loot crate is dependent on how high your levels are in herblore, fishing, mining, crafting, farming, and woodcutting. And thus, the higher your level in these stats, the more high-level loot you should get from the crates, respectively. It is not known the specific levels needed in each stats to gain the best loot from each type of skill, but I would say it's safe to assume if you reach 60 to 75 in each, you should receive some of the best loot possible. The third kind of account is a higher level player, someone with more than 10 HP, generally a main account who also has higher levels in herblore, fishing, mining, crafting, farming, and woodcutting. These accounts are played by people who either want to see what Wintertodt is all about, or people ready to get 99 firemaking. They will struggle a little bit with more than 10 HP accounts because the Wintertodt damages you based on your HP level. At 10 HP, the Wintertodt's normal base attack deals a damage of 1, and this is, if you've fully decked out. Whereas at 99 HP, the base attack does over 10 damage per hit. This makes it harder for higher levels to maximize XP rates. This will be evident when we discuss how to achieve maximum XP rates here in a moment. The level requirements. The only requirement is 50 firemaking. However, Druidic Ritual is also required if the player wants to pick Bruma herbs, which are used to create rejuvenation potions. I highly suggest doing this before starting. Using rejuvenation potions will grant a nice bonus to your points, as we will discuss later. What stats should players get to benefit the most from Wintertodt? Well, as we just said, construction, fletching, 50 firemaking minimum requirement. and then the skilling stats to ensure the best loot, herb lore, etc. Level and item recommendations for XP efficiency. Level 60 to 75 in herb lore, fishing, mining, crafting, farming, and woodcutting to maximize loot gains from each crate. When starting your first game, always remember to bring an axe, tinderbox, a knife for fletching, a hammer for fixing the brazier, and ample food for your trip. Side note, for higher players, if you can afford it, Ceradom and Brews work very well for extended trips because while they may lower your stats, the stats which are lowered are not required for Wintertodt. So, for herb lore, just do Druidic Ritual as expressed a moment ago. Having Druidic Ritual allows you to create the rejuvenation potion required for keeping the Pyromancer alive. The Pyromancer is the NPC which actually damages the Wintertodt. No, you are not what damages the Wintertodt. You simply light the fire so the Pyromancer can use it to hurl fireballs at the Wintertodt. If the Pyromancer has no HP, however, you cannot relight the fire, and you cannot do damage to the Wintertodt from your brazier. While this may not be a big issue all the time, sometimes it is pertinent for you to be able to relight and burn your logs to reach the 500 point goal. With a potion in your inventory, however, you can gain 30 points towards your goal, 60 points if you heal him to full health. Each potion holds 4 doses and are used to heal the Pyromancers found in the Wintertodd's prison. Using a dose on a Pyromancer heals them for 5 hit points and grants the player 30 points towards supply crates once I'm doing the Wintertodt. To create the potion, when entering the Wintertodt prison, take a vial of unfinished rejuvenation potion from the box of concoctions. A box looks like a box of vials. Then go to the sprouting roots on either the east side or the west side of the prison, pick a Bruma herb from them, then combine it with the unfinished potion to make the 4-dose rejuvenation potion. Do this every time you enter the prison for max efficiency. As far as fletching goes, no fletching levels are required. At level 1 fletching, a player can create Bruma Kindling and begin gaining fletching XP. A Bruma Kindling is obtained by using a knife on a Bruma root, granting fletching experience appropriate to the player's level. The fletching experience given is equal to 0.6 times the player's fletching level. It is used to burn in the braziers, same as the Bruma roots are, but Bruma Kindlings give approximately 27% more firemaking experience than Bruma roots on the brazier. That's per piece. As far as woodcutting goes, there's no woodcutting level requirement either. However, I do have a very strong recommendation. If soloing the Wintertodt, you should be okay to use a bronze axe from level 1. However, once you hit 6 woodcutting, using the bronze axe is futile and should not be done. Take the time to get a steel axe. There is an odd requirement for efficiency within the Wintertodt where a steel axe is actually just as good at chopping logs as the dragon axe. Thus, when you are able to use the steel axe, do so immediately. The bronze and iron axes actually chop wood at a slower rate, until using a steel axe. The reason why a bronze axe is so bad, while if you use one you will see, you do get Bruma roots, or logs, but if you are in World 309, it's almost impossible to achieve 500 points consistently. Again, to fix this issue, simply use a steel axe at level 6 woodcutting. Construction. At level 1 construction, a player can buy their very own player-owned house. Having a player-owned house is a requirement to gain construction XP while doing the Wintertodt. While it is not required to kill the Wintertodt, it is highly recommended before starting your Wintertodt experience. When the braziers break, they can do a lot of damage, according to your hit points level, so be sure to step out of the way when the snow begins to fall over them. The snow indicates they are about to violently break and damage you. After they break, however, if you have a player-owned house, make sure you have a hammer on you, then click the broken brazier to fix it. This will grant you a significant amount of construction XP. From level 1 construction, the XP gained is very slow. You are granted XP equal to 4 times your construction level, so try to get 2 or 3 construction levels before you start as well. Fixing braziers all the way to 99 firemaking in the World 309 will roughly take you from 1 construction to about 50 or 52 construction. However, if you're doing the solo Wintertodt method, XP rates have been worked out to roughly 75 construction by the time you hit 99 firemaking, which is substantially higher than 50. Take this into consideration if you are an Ironman, or if you don't want to spend a lot of money on construction. Firemaking XP rates may be slightly slowed, but you can save a ton of GP on construction this way. What world is the best world? For XP or for loot? Faster XP actually comes from faster games. Even though burning lots of kindling is very fast on its own, burning the logs instead of the kindling actually grants an even faster XP rate. But the boosted XP from the end of each successful 500 point game gives a majorly significant bonus to the XP rates per hour. It is vital to earn 500 points per game. Without 500 or more points per game, you will not get a loot crate. The best world for getting both the fastest XP and the most loot is World 309. That is, if you can keep up with the speed of each Wintertodt kill. The other 3 Wintertodt worlds are not far behind as far as XP and GP rates go. Do Wintertodt in those worlds if you don't like the super crowded feel, or if you can't seem to get enough points in World 309, or if you want a more relaxed, semi-AFKable experience. How supply crates work. A supply crate, or loot crate, is obtained after earning at least 500 points during the fight against the Wintertodt. Opening it will give players 2 rolls on the reward table. For every 500 points earned after the initial 500, another reward is added to the crate. Points earned between the 500 point milestones will provide players a chance to receive an additional award equivalent to the progress made towards the next milestone. For every 5 points past the 500 point milestone, the player gets a 1% extra chance to get additional loot. For example, 505 points gives 2 rolls plus another 1% chance of an extra roll. 510 points gives 2 rolls plus an extra 2% of an extra roll, and so on. Additionally, players can receive a maximum of 27 rewards from a single supply crate, requiring a total of 13,000 points to earn. Some may be wondering how it would even be possible to get 1,000 points, let alone 1,500 or 13,000. But this is where the duo or solo method can come into play. There is an additional way to earn supply crates, however, I do not recommend it, at least until you are 99 firemaking and never plan to come back. That method is turning in duplicate reward items, such as the Pyromancer outfit pieces. You can turn in pieces to Ignitia, who can be found outside the bank tent in the Wintertodt camp. He will take your items and provide you with an extra loot crate. Generally, this would be a good idea to continue getting more loot, however, there's an interesting mechanic here that should be taken full advantage of. After getting 3 torch drops, every time you roll the table for another torch, instead of receiving the torch, you will now receive 1 to 3 torstal seeds. After getting 3 warm glove drops, every time you roll the drop table for another pair of warm gloves, instead of receiving the gloves, you will now receive 1 to 3 magic seeds. Finally, as long as we are discussing interesting mechanics of rare drops, while the pet may be listed as 1 in 5,000, it's not actually 1 in 5,000 crates. It's 1 in 5,000 rolls. So another point to make, it takes roughly 670 Wintertodt kills to get to 99 firemaking. And if in each game you've received 2 loot rolls per crate, that means you have done roughly 1,340 out of the 5,000 loot rolls required to meet the drop rate of the pet. Likewise, someone soloing the Wintertodt, while they won't be getting as much XP due to longer games and less frequent XP bonuses from completing a kill, they may, however, have a much higher chance of receiving a pet and other rare items as well. The solo or duo method. Finishing a Wintertodt kill with a 13,000 point total grants maximum loot from a single crate. The maximum loot from a single crate is 27 total rolls. While each roll can be different, your max loot crate will almost certainly provide you with the same rolled loot at least twice, making the loot appear to only take up roughly 20 to 24 spaces in your inventory. Achieving this, though, can be done by soloing, duoing, or even taking on the Wintertodt with a small group of close friends. The smaller the group, the easier it is to perfect this method. The trick is simple. Don't let the Wintertodt die. By understanding the Wintertodt mechanics, we know that when a brazier is lit, the Pyromancer is using the flame to attack the Wintertodt, and when it is not lit, the Wintertodt will regenerate health. So, balance between burning logs or kindling to gain points, and then letting the fire go out to let the Wintertodt regenerate. Do this until you have 13,000 points for a full loot crate, grading 27 total rolls. The solo, duo, or small group method is just a more relaxed way to do Wintertodt. It is a nice change of pace for someone who needs it, but it is not the best XP, and arguably may not be the best GP per hour, but for that, go to World 309. The solo method, however, as previously discussed, can grant far greater amounts of construction XP than the duo, small group, or World 309 methods. Setting up. Throughout the fight, the player will take intermittent passive damage as the cold of the Wintertodt begins to seep into their bones. The passive damage is scaled to each player's levels based on the sum of the player's hit points and firemaking levels, as well as the number of braziers that are currently lit. Wearing warm items, and that is a technical term, warm items, will reduce the damage taken. A minimum of 4 of these warm items need to be equipped to receive the maximum damage reduction. Gearing up for your first run at Wintertodt is essential when attempting to be as efficient as possible. The list of items that can be worn, which are designated as warm items, is a long list. and I will go ahead and list them all for you here. The items you can use are found within the Santa outfit, the anti-Santa outfit, the bunny outfit, the clue hunter outfit. There's also hunter gear, such as the polar, wood, jungle, or desert camo tops and legs, or the Larupia, grok, or Kayet hats, tops, and legs. More items include the bomber jacket costume, yak hide armor, chicken outfit, evil chicken outfit, jester hat, bear head, fire tiara, lumberjack hat, as well as the jester scarves, the woolly, bobble, gnome, and rainbow scarves, the Fremenic gloves, the 99 fire making cape and hood, of course, any variation of the fire cape, including fire max cape and fire max hood, likewise the infernal cape and infernal max hood, the obsidian cape, the obsidian R cape as well. In the weapon slot, you can wield any fire staff, lava staff, steam, or smoke staff. You can wield infernal axes or infernal pickaxes, a volcanic abyssal whip, or even the ale of the gods. In the shield slot, the tome of fire or a lit bug lantern may also be used as a warm item to reduce damage from the Wintertodt. There are still some other random pieces which can be used, such as the gloves of silence, the spotted and spottier cape, or a strung rabbit foot necklace. The more notable items for discussion, however, are the pyromancer pieces. These items will provide the exact same warm bonus as all other pieces I have just listed. There is a common misconception that the pyromancer pieces protect you better, but let it be settled now. They don't. They are all the same amount of protection. For example, the gloves of silence are exactly identical and equal to the warm gloves when it comes to a warm item. They're exactly the same. Here's where the differences are. While only 4 warm items need to be worn to receive the full reduction in damage, the full pyromancer outfit will also grant you a firemaking experience boost. It provides a small boost of 2.5% to firemaking experience when the full set is equipped. Although warm gloves match the appearance of the pyromancer outfit, they do not count towards the set bonus. They only count as a piece of warm clothing when subduing the Wintertodt. Thus, the items required for the 2.5% experience boost are the pyromancer hood, the garb, which is the chest piece, the robe, which is the legs, and the boots. That's it. The Bruma Torch acts the same as the warm gloves, only providing a warm bonus but not required for the set's experience bonus. Each piece of the outfit may be found from searching supply crates after subduing the Wintertodt. The entire set, excluding warm gloves, can be stored in a magic wardrobe in the player-owned house costume room. This clothing is not immediately lost upon death, as it can be retrieved off the ground if you were to lose any of the pieces. This applies unless it is lost in deep wilderness or another irretrievable location. To continue setting yourself up for a great Wintertodt experience, be sure to have plenty of food for healing. Remember, the higher your hit points level, the harder you will be hit. At 10 HP, 1500 kicks should be plenty to get 99 firemaking. However, at 99 HP, you'll need closer to 1200 sharks, and that's just to be on the safe side, to get 99 firemaking. Try a few games and try to provide yourself with the proper amount of food for your goal. Alright, how do we get there? The Wintertodt camp is found in the northern reaches of the Arceus house in Great Kurend. Players can reach the camp via the game's necklace teleport to the Wintertodt, provided they have already taken Veos' ship to Piscarilia's house at least once. Alternatively, players can use the Faring code CIS after paying 80,000 coins to Trosa, and then walking west, then northwest along the path. Likewise, anyone without an immediate teleport this close can simply take the long trek through Zeah to the northern part of the Arceus house, then follow the snowy path to the Wintertodt camp. At the camp is a bank. The path is actually not risky for any level. There are no attackable NPCs along the way. If you encounter one somehow, you haven't just gone completely off course, but you were never on course to begin with. Another common misconception, which I'm sure is shattered by now, is that it is potentially dangerous for a level 3 hardcore Iron Man. It certainly is 100% safe, so AFK walk your happy level 3 10 HP hardcore self up to the Wintertodt camp. How does the Wintertodt hit, and who does it hit? It's based on a few things. Some obvious, some are more subtle. Firstly, if you are not wearing any warm items, you will be hit more often, and you'll be hit harder than other players with your same hit points level by all the Wintertodt attacks. A max of 4 warm items is required to negate the most damage possible. However, this does not negate all damage. Deciding to stand in specific places can also reduce your chance of being hit, thus also maximizing your experience and GP gained per hour. Every time you are dealt damage by the Wintertodt while fletching or burning logs or kindling, your player will stop doing the automated process and you will have to manually click to resume the process. However, if you are hit while cutting the bruma roots, you will not be interrupted from cutting. The Wintertodt's first attack is its standard damage attack. It hits players at random about every 10 to 20 seconds. Sometimes it's every 60 seconds, sometimes it's every 5 seconds. You'll see, it can be a pain in the butt. But, we will expand on this a bit further later. This attack is the most frequent damage you will take. Luckily, it is also the Wintertodd's weakest way to damage you, and it can only affect you, not other players. Likewise, when other players are damaged by it, it will not affect you. The Wintertodd's second attack is called Area Attack, which resembles a 3x3 area of falling snow. This attack can easily be avoided by paying attention while you play, and avoiding the tiles which indicate a presence of a lot of snow falling. The Wintertodt will hit players at random with falling snow, which can do a 2 to 3 times the base cold attack damage value. This falling snow attack can hit other players, and so it becomes obvious that if you stand under a stack of other players, you are more likely to be hit by a falling snow attack aimed for them. Stay away from other players as much as possible, specifically when fletching or feeding the brazier. This will maximize your long-term XP and GP gains. The third attack is called the Brazier attack. Braziers will shatter when clusters of snow fall on them. A player standing next to a brazier, when it shatters, will take the same amount of damage as if snow had fallen on them, similar to the Wintertodd's second attack, the Area attack. Pay attention, and you can easily dodge this attack too. Dodging the Wintertodd's attacks maximize your long-term XP and GP gains. How dropping items in the Wintertodt prison works. Dropping normal game items works the same way as outside the Wintertodt arena, but dropping items like bruma logs or bruma kindling, they will disappear immediately on drop. So, conclusion of the basics here. After hearing this much of the guide, you should now know all you need to know to be able to do Wintertodt as effectively as about every other player. However, the guide isn't done here. In fact, at the very end is a look at the type of loot you can acquire from 92 to 99 firemaking. And let me just say this now. It's good loot, especially when you have the appropriate skilling stats to accommodate higher tier lootations. But up next is a more in-depth guide, providing more detail on higher and higher efficiency rates. How to efficiently gain the most from killing Wintertodt. First, let's do a small recap. Have levels 60 to 75 in herblore, fishing, mining, crafting, farming, and woodcutting prior to starting. Wear at least 4 warm items to reduce damage. The lower HP level only means you don't get hit as hard, but you will still be hit as often. Use at least a steel axe. Remember to stand clear of other players to reduce your chance of being struck by an area attack, which is targeting them. Now for a more in-depth look. The very first one, why fletch? As previously discussed, fletching bruma roots into kindling and burning the kindling may grant more XP per kindling, but that is irrelevant. The question is always asked, why fletch? Well, the short answer is, fletch if you struggle to get 500 points in World 309. But don't just fletch at any time, fletch later in the game. Fletch when Wintertodt is down to at least 60% hit points or lower. The lower the Wintertodd's hit points are, the less often you will be hit. Therefore, the less often you'll have to restart the automated fletching experience. Fletching at the beginning of a round usually creates more hassle and takes the player more time to fletch the 12 logs they just cut than it would to just burn them, then grab 12 more and fletch those instead. The lower the Wintertodd's HP, the easier it is to fletch. So get points early on from logs, fletch later. To properly address the why fletch question though, once you get proficient at the Wintertodt and World 309, you likely won't need to fletch. This is where it gets a little difficult, however. Those who never fletch, generally speaking, are players who have 5 to 20 inventory spaces open at the beginning of each Wintertodt kill. This allows them to cut heaps of logs at a time, spending less time running back and forth, thus increasing their ability to burn more logs than someone who only has 8 to 12 spaces at the beginning of the round. The downside to those who have 20 available spaces, well, they typically can't stay for multiple rounds at a time without banking. Generally, this isn't a problem, but what is there to do between games? Nothing, right? Wrong. It is also wise to get 60 agility before starting Wintertodt. The perfect use of resources, gaining as much EHP efficiency as possible, would include training agility along the north wall of the prison. Hardcore efficiency players will tell you, fletch, to meet your 500 point goal easier. After 500 points, burn the logs for XP. Keep in mind, again, to play multiple games at once and to utilize the agility experience between games, you have to bring a lot of food, which gives you only a few open inventory spots to work with. Fletching helps players who don't have a lot of inventory space. So why fletch? Well, how serious are you about getting high EHP rates? What sort of XP are you trying to earn while in Wintertodt? If you want high EHP, chances are you'll be fletching. Unless, of course, you are in a slower world where burning logs with only 12 inventory spaces open doesn't cut your 500 point margin too close every single game, which would then inevitably risk losing the XP and the GP reward at the end of the game. A not so well known method for efficiency is tick eating while woodcutting. It's very simple. Every time you are about to receive a log, eat your food on the same tick, or a single tick after receiving a log. Then immediately click the broomer roots to continue cutting, and you won't be delayed in getting another log. This works continually, and should be utilized where you see it benefits you the most. Along with avoiding danger zones, which basically is avoiding the area attacks that are performed on other players, by staying away from the other players, we can also stand next to a wall to remove chances of the area attack. I'm not so sure this is proven, but in my trek to 99, it seemed to be foolproof, so play around with this method as well. Also, use the brazier in the northwest or the northeast, for there are fewer people here. These braziers are also closer to the agility training area along the north wall of the prison, and are quickly accessible directly after killing the Wintertodt and before starting a new round. Getting more than 500 points in hopes of gaining additional loot, when you could benefit more from something else like agility, it's a bad idea. With every 5 points past the 500 point mark giving only a 1% chance of receiving a third loot roll in your crate, sometimes, based on what you want to gain at Wintertodt, it is smarter to get your 500 points and then reprioritize your focus on other types of XP that can be gained for the remainder of the game. Burning logs instead of kindling is the fastest fire making XP available, especially if your goal is strictly gaining fire making XP and loot. Otherwise, if your goal is agility or herblore or woodcutting or fletching XP, you may want to consider a different strategy. World hopping between games. World hopping between finished Wintertodt games can increase XP and GP rates if you know the right world to hop into. Don't hop while the game is in progress though, or else you'll lose all your points, logs, and kindling. There's an interesting world hop mechanic. When doing agility at the Wintertodt, you can hop immediately after being hit with damage, so maybe this could save your life in the future. If you are about to die and know a world that just finished a Wintertodt round, switch to that world. Otherwise, see my Wintertodt agility guide for the best use of this mechanic. Now, let's go ahead and check out a live clip of what a higher EHP game could look like. In it, I will point out all the mechanics that I am using that we have just discussed. Okay, welcome to the live segment portion. What we have here is the concoction crate. Take one of those. This is again what you need the herblore for. This is now going to be the unfinished rejuvenation potion. When you come up here, again on the west wall and on the east wall, what we have here is these sprouting roots. Pick one of those, and you can't pick it yet, but yeah, I'm a dingus. You gotta wait till the game starts to be able to pick one. So the very first thing you're gonna do when the game starts, always light the brazier to begin with. Then after you light the brazier, you can run down and pick it. So you can see we got 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go ahead and light this thing. Alright, and we're off. We're hit already. We're gonna pick one of these here, and you can see we got some farming XP from that. So you can farm some farming XP if you'd like. And now you can also tell that we only have, we've got 8 slots open. Okay, we've been hit a fair amount already. I'm gonna go ahead and use this, watch. We'll one tick this. Just like that. There we go. And so what you want to do is you want to stand over here on the wall, away from everyone else, and fletch your logs. Now, like I had said before, you probably should just burn them, but I got a slow start already because we had to get this this herb. So, but if you're starting off right away and you're not picking that herb and you're here for your second game, see this, everyone's getting hit. I'm over here, I'm just fletching. There's nobody else standing under me. Nobody else does this, and I don't know why, but it's the way to go. So we're gonna go ahead now and burn our fletched logs. Again, you wouldn't necessarily fletch your first load on the typical game, but on your first game in and you're picking the herb, you've already spent enough time. Once the Wintertodd's health is down to about 85, it's okay to go ahead and start fletching. For a more guarantee that you're not going to get hit, wait until he's about 60, right now would be a good time to start fletching. But I've played this enough to know that, you know, the first trip we're okay to not fletch, or we're okay to fletch if we're getting the herb. You see this guy? He knows. He knows. Stand in that corner. Now, you see he's standing in this corner? Nothing you can do about that. But I'll tell you what, it's a lot better than standing over here. Oops. It's a lot better than standing over here where there's a ton more people. So basically though, what we're not doing is paying attention. And so while I can hear that I'm being hit by the cold for 5s, that's fine. You see that if I wasn't paying attention though, I wouldn't be able to get the fire making XP. And while it didn't show that I lit it, I did. You saw the 595 XP drop. Now these kindlings are giving me 386. So yeah, pay attention and you'll be able to get more points and more XP. And that's the name of the game, isn't it? Here we go. Again, there's a 594 XP drop. And then here's our 3. We got 5 more points to get, and there we go. We got it. Just like that, we got our 500 points. Very, very quick and easy. And now, if this guy were to ever die, we could use this here potion right on him. And I'm going to go ahead and get this extra fire making XP, because why not? And you can now spend this time fletching, or cutting wood, or doing agility, or you can come over here, in fact, if you get really low farming, and in my case, I'm close to getting a level. I can come over here and pick these until the game is over. Now, granted, I've got 100 more to pick, but in a couple of games of doing this, I'll have my level. It's pretty simple, it's pretty easy. It all depends on what kind of XP you're looking for in Wintertodt. If you want your herb lore XP, if you want fletching, if you want wood cutting, you can go farm some logs, you can fletch the logs, you can keep cooking the logs on the fire. Here we go. Maybe I can get in there for some construction gains. Yep, just in time. And you see the wizard? He's down. Someone just helped him. There you go. See? Now, the issue is when people don't help him, and you're stuck here. That's why you've got this vial here. The rejuvenation potion will save you more times than I can tell you. Usually it happens early in the morning or late at night when you know, everybody's not on, the normal Wintertodt players aren't on, or when you're in the off worlds other than World 309. People don't know how to heal this pyromancer. So lucky you do, and you get to capitalize on it. You'll get 60 points for healing him, and so that's really nice. So now, look at that. We've used 2 food because, well, we've got 4 warm items on, but so will you, hopefully. And now we can sit here and just jump this. And I'm not doing this efficiently because I'm a dingus again. But so here's what we're gonna do. Angle your screen like this, and you just click. It's important to note, watch the time. When I stop, watch the timer up top left. I got one more I can do. You ready? And now I'm off. Some people stop too early. Don't stop too early. I'm here right on time. Let's go cut our wood. We got hit. Now this one we're just gonna burn the logs. That way we don't get our automated process of fletching stopped immediately for whatever reason. We can go ahead and tick eat too. That was a bad one. That ain't gonna work. I waited too long. There we go. So let's go ahead and burn our logs. And we'll fletch the next round, because he's at 92 hit points. We're likely gonna get hit. That snow fell on this gentleman here as he ran by. So I come here into this corner. This corner's fine, but again, you're standing next to a whole bunch of people. If you really want to avoid being hit, come down here. Also, it's easier to see yourself getting hit than it is to hear yourself getting hit. So I can hear myself getting hit. I don't know if you guys hear that on your end, but I can hear it. Now, if I was standing down in this corner here, you would see it as well. It makes it a little easier. If you guys want to do full-blown EHP towards fire making, what you'll do is you won't fletch any logs. You just burn your logs non-stop, and that does not guarantee that you will get your 500 points every game. That's the issue. But if you have, 8 food, you have a much higher likelihood of completing the game every game with 500 points. But then again, you have to run to the bank every single game, and you can't do agility or anything like that in between. So with that being said, this was your quick little example of maximizing your EHP. Okay, and as promised, here is a quick little clip of all my loot from level 92 to 99. Again, I didn't want to get the I didn't want to do 50 to 99 because I wanted to unlock all of the outfit first. But as you can see, I got a dragon axe. That's a 1 in 10k. Do not expect yourself to get that. It's a very rare item. I got extremely lucky. And now I'm doing a price check. First is 3.4 mil, then 2.8, and then 300k, giving us a total of about 7 mil. Again, that's from 92 to 99. So you could probably assume that it's about double that. And that's with skills that are decently high for the herb lore, the mining, the wood cutting, etc. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope this has helped you in your trek for ultimate satisfaction with the Wintertodt and 99 fire making. See you guys later.